Welcome back to Politics Nation. We go now to my political panel to get their take on today's big topics. Let's bring in Rina Shah, Senior Advisor for the Republican Women for Progress. Rina, the January 6th committee says they have a mountain of information to be shared over the next couple of weeks, detailing how Donald Trump was at the center of a seven-part plan to overturn the 2020 election. Now, the panel promises to directly implicate Trump, and now they have to deliver the facts. What challenges does the committee face to get their points across?
First and foremost, this select committee must keep America's attention the way it captivated it the other night. That visual evidence that had never been seen before was so damning. But most of all, it was something that really made me feel as if I was watching a movie, as if I was watching television that had been created for me instead of actual footage of a day that I've now become intimately familiar with. I remember the aerial shots of that day for months and weeks after. We saw those shots and they said, okay, fine, there weren't that many people. There were people who were naysayers saying, okay, these were just tourists. It wasn't that bad. There weren't that many. But what we saw from the committee's footage, that in that unseen footage, was on the ground. And that was truly telling of the exact carnage that happened that day. The witnesses, of course, told us some things that we had never heard before. Officer Edwards, of course, saying she was slipping in the blood of her colleagues. That was a line I was not prepared for. But also, let's not forget the opening statements of the chairman and the chairwoman, the ranking member, Congresswoman Liz Cheney. Her words, they will go down in history. She said something to the effect of, Donald Trump will no longer be here one day, but to my Republican colleagues, your dishonor will remain. That, right now, Sharpton, I tell you, that is a line for the history books.
No, I certainly concur with that. President Biden says he's looking at ways to shore up abortion rights if the Supreme Court overturns Roe versus Wade in the coming weeks. This, as Biden is receiving pressure from Senate Democrats for a national plan to defend a person's right to an abortion. What options does the president have for addressing the concerns of abortion rights and the advocates that want to hear something before the midterm?
Well, certainly this issue coming up this close to the midterms presents a real big quagmire, of course. For the White House, there's a challenge here that's purely political, and that doesn't have as much to do with the Supreme Court as we think it does. The average American can think that this can be settled in the judicial branch, the executive branch, but the reality is there are state houses across the country that are putting in jeopardy the lives of American women and their ability to have safe access to abortion. Reproductive rights for American women are on the line in a way that I've never seen in my lifetime. And the reality is that if Joe Biden chooses to act and do something when it comes to protecting access to safe abortions, then he really will put himself in danger of the backlash that could ensue right at the midterms. Are Republicans, well, we don't know. Are they going to mobilize in a way that says we're not happy with what the White House is choosing to do? Or are Democrats going to feel super energized and say, let's push back and let's fight for this president in a way that we ought to, despite things such as inflation, the economy looming large, and let's not forget violence, gun violence being so hot right now, the issue endangering the lives of so many Americans around the country that want to see action from every level of government. So I think this is unfortunately a situation in which the White House may be better off choosing to not act before the midterms. Yeah. It brings me no happiness to say that, but it really could put the presidency in danger.